Well, today we are throwing open the doors of City Hall and letting the sun shine in. We are launching a new initiative on the city's website for data transparency. I have often said that transparency is a lot more than about just posting stuff on the internet. It's about a spirit and a culture of transparency. But you know, today demonstrates that it is also about technology, and yes, big data, and yes, putting stuff available on the internet. This is also about stretching democracy. History tells us that when democracy is stretched, it is strengthened. Our data transparency page features the kind of information that's easy for anyone to use, plus a new feature, new raw data files to interest those with more computer and technical experience and expertise. We are just getting started, but our aspirational goal is to put more and more information online to make government as transparent as we can so citizens will be able to get a clear picture of how we are conducting the people's business. So, within the next 2 months, the city will launch a GIS web application providing better access to Lexington property, street, zoning, and aerial photography. And the city is working with county officials like Property Valuation Administrator David O'Neill, whose office is highly regarded for providing free, accessible data online. We will hear from David in just a few minutes. And even though he couldn't be here with us today, I also want to give a shout out and acknowledgement to Councilmember Doug Martin, who has supported this initiative through a council resolution. Jonathan, thank you for being here with us today, representing Councilmember Martin's office. Launching the data transparency page is the perfect way to celebrate last week's announcement that Lexington is one of 20 finalists nationwide in the Bloomberg Mayor's Challenge. And Derek Paulson, our Commissioner for Planning, is one of 4 of our representatives from Lexington who will be going to New York to the Bloomberg Ideas Camp.
We are excited. The open data portal and the transparency of data is a key part of our Bloomberg strategy of Citizen Lex. One of probably the most visual part of it will be the open data. Obviously, a lot of it is going to be focused on citizen engagement, but we think an important part is to make sure that people have the data they need to have proper citizen engagement. This is the first stage of it, of which we hope to move quickly into a second phase. But this first stage is going to provide us, as you can see behind me, a lot of data that is related to development, as well as historical data and other types of community data. Data from this can be turned into your own analysis, which is one of the things that we want to get out of the Bloomberg Challenge, or one of the things from Citizen Lex. Doing your own analysis and being able to engage with us about what you see as issues within our community. We hope in phase 2 to move to putting even more information online in searchable formats, as well as formats that are easy for people to get. But the raw data format for others to look at code enforcement data, building inspection data, and even our 311 data to, again, make it easier for people to know the what, where, and why about what the city is doing. Again, going to be a big part of our Citizen Lex Bloomberg idea that we hope to start moving on very quickly.
Next, as I said earlier, there is also more accessible data housed on the data transparency page. Raids online for police information, for example, our city's budget, GTV archives. So you can catch up on lots of things through this process and this new system. Susan Lamb, our council clerk, is here to tell us about Legistar, which is a relatively new source of information for Lexington.
We're so excited about promoting our government transparency, and I want to thank Mayor Gray and the Urban County Council for their support on this project, and Meredith Nelson, the Deputy Council Clerk, for her work as project lead. As you see on the screen, Legistar is a web-based legislative management system through which the Urban County government tracks and searches legislative files and builds legislative agendas for council meetings, work sessions, and committee meetings. Implementation began early in 2011, and the administrative review process for legislative items requiring consideration by the council was moved from paper to electronic as of November 2011. The system includes both a desktop application used by the Urban County government employees and a public website viewable by both internal employees and the public. Use of Legistar promotes transparency, efficiency, and workflow automation. The public website available at lexington.legistar.com is keyword searchable and includes updated information on the status of legislative items. You will now be able to track your legislative items 24/7 online. Connecting government to citizens is the most effective way to bring about better communities, better societies, and better government.
Thanks, Mayor. It's an honor to be invited here to talk about transparency and open data. It's been a priority in the Property Valuation Office since I've been your PVA for not quite 4 years now. We've got 2 significant initiatives that we've taken on since I've been PVA along these lines. And the first is that every expense of the PVA office, every check I write is listed on our website, fayettepva.com. Philip, I don't know if you can hop over to the website. I'm not aware of any other government agency in Kentucky at any level, local, state, or federal, that has gone so far as to put every expense of their office on their website. I think that the transparency and open data are important not only to shed light on and to be a disinfectant, but also I've always been a firm believer that the PVA office and other government agencies had a wealth of data that could be used in the growth of economic development to create jobs if only it were accessible and easy access. And so the next initiative we did is I set about on a 2-year plan to relaunch our website, fayettepva.com. We studied websites of other tax assessor-related agencies all over the country. We found the best items from each one. We spent about 1.5 years actually researching, analyzing, designing, and developing what I believe to be in the top 10 property-related websites in the country. If you're not familiar with it, please do. fayettepva.com. You can look up every property record in Fayette County, see a picture of it, the sales history of it, and I'm very excited about the Mayor's initiative, and I'm looking forward to ways that the PVA office can further enrich the data available on the portal you've seen today and how we can better integrate that data. So, Mayor, congratulations on the good job, and thank you for letting me participate.
We are dialing up expectations, and we're dialing up accountability. And clearly there's some challenge in that. I said earlier that, if we look at our history of American history, it's always been about dialing up and stretching democratic processes. And we've learned that strengthens democracy. And I think that is a big part of what we're talking about and doing here.